What if I told you one of today's most talked about couples actually started with awkward tension and misread signals? That's exactly what happened with Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, and their story is anything but typical. So, in the podcast, they reveal they first met when Selena was just 16. Benny was around 20, already producing music, and this meeting was set up by Selena's mom. No romance, no chemistry, just an industry intro. But Benny remembers something different. Even back then, he picked up on how layered and complex Selena was. Not in a dramatic way, just someone who clearly had depth. But here's the twist: Selena wasn't giving any of that away. She had walls up. And honestly, that makes perfect sense. When you grow up in the spotlight, you learn early that being too open comes with a cost. So Benny interpreted that guarded energy as dislike. Now, this part, super relatable. How many of us have mistaken someone's caution for coldness? Especially in professional settings where people are just trying to protect their space. And looking back, both of them admit there were just too many people speaking on Selena's behalf, shaping this narrative that she was hard to work with. But Benny didn't buy into that. He just stayed confused. Fast forward a few years. They're in the studio again, this time working on Single Soon. And what's ironic? The song was totally unrelated to what Selena was feeling personally at the time. But here's what stood out. Benny didn't just show up to say hi and leave. He said he'd stay 10 minutes and didn't leave. He stayed through the entire session. Now that move right there, that speaks volumes, because that wasn't about music, it was about care. She gets nervous recording in front of producers, and instead of brushing it off, Benny stayed until the work was done. That's presence, and it clearly shifted something between them. After that session, Benny sent her a casual thank you text, which somehow turned into a thread of weird, intentionally terrible selfies. Not curated, not filtered, just raw, goofy stuff. And Selena matched that energy. And let's be honest, this is where most real relationships actually start. Not the perfect Instagram phase, but the, hey, here's me looking like I got hit by a bus in Joy era, that kind of unfiltered back and forth. It builds a different kind of trust. Then comes their so-called first date, which apparently wasn't even a date in Benny's mind. He invited her to a friend's birthday party, but they got drinks beforehand. Selena showed up thinking, this is a date. Benny showed up in casual clothes, completely clueless. But here's the beauty. Despite the misread, Selena told him afterward it was one of the best nights she'd had in a long time. And what makes it even cooler? She officially asked him out after that. Now let's pause here. That right there, that breaks a stereotype. We're so used to the idea that the guy has to make all the first moves, but Selena flipping that script makes the whole story feel more grounded and way more honest. Over time, she realized she had feelings. But what made those feelings grow wasn't grand gestures or flashy moments. It was how safe she felt around him. She said she never felt like he had an angle, that when he looked at her, it wasn't through the lens of fame or perception. It was just her, as she was. And I think that's the part we don't talk about enough: emotional safety, especially for someone like Selena, who spent her life performing, being seen, being judged. That kind of genuine presence is rare. Then they both agreed if they'd met earlier, it never would have worked. And that resonates hard. Sometimes the right people at the wrong time are just the wrong people. Growth had to happen separately before they could actually show up for each other fully. Jay Shetty, who hosted the conversation, pointed out how cozy and secure their energy felt. And honestly, he's right. It didn't feel like a relationship being broadcast. It felt like a safe space being shared. Also, Jay dropped a gem about how hard it is for men to make deep friendships as adults. And that clicked. Because what started between Selena and Benny wasn't fireworks. It was friendship. The goofy, vulnerable, no pressure kind. And maybe that's the real lesson here, that the best relationships don't always start with a spark. Sometimes they start with a weird selfie and someone who sticks around longer than 10 minutes. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the timing of a relationship matters more than the person? Or does the right person make the timing work?